Hi, I didn't see you there. This exercise actually reminds me of a challenge that I did with my friend not long ago. I remember that the challenge was about what too many letters that he could not pronounce. He couldn't pronounce a lot, but there was just one letter set in particular that he just couldn't even get near, at least in the pronunciation. Do you know what that Tigrinya letter is? Hi, my name is Emna, and today we are going to learn our 8th Tigrinya alphabet letter set. As a reminder, I would like to advise for you to watch our previous Tigrinya lesson videos, because if you do, then you'll get a better idea about what I'll be talking about in this video. As usual, we will learn this Tigrinya letter using the 4 simple ways to learn a language, and they are reading, writing, speaking, and listening. Let's dive into our 8th Tigrinya alphabet letter set, Kha. We will write this letter using this template. Now this template has 5 rows or 5 sections. The first section or row, which is this one over here, is where the computerized version of these Tigrinya letters will be placed. Our second row, which is the sound row, is where we will learn how to pronounce these Tigrinya letters. Our third row is the writing row, and over here, this is where I will show you how to write these Tigrinya letters in Tigrinya. Our fourth row is the example row, and over here, I will give you an example with each of the following Tigrinya letters. Our last row is the remark row, and over here, this is where I will give you any extra information, that is, if there is, for the Tigrinya letter set. Before I show you how to pronounce these Tigrinya letters, I'd like to advise for you to repeat after me each time that I say these Tigrinya letters, because if you do, then you will get a better idea on how to pronounce them. So let's go to our first letter. Our first letter is the letter A. A. And you will write A in English by doing comma, which is how we're representing the shift key, comma, Q, comma, Q, E. Kha. Now, some of you are thinking, man, this guy must be crazy. He just spelled apostrophe QE as kha. And yes, that's not how you write the pronunciation of letter kha. But if you were to write shift or apostrophe, which is the way that we symbolized it, QE, you will get the letter kha. But if you just wrote QE, which is how our previous Tigrinya letter set was written, then you will get letter A, not A. There's a difference. And so this principle with the apostrophe QE will apply for this entire letter set. And so this just means that when you were to write the Tigrinya letter set of A, you'd use apostrophe QE. Okay, let's go to our second Tigrinya letter. Our second Tigrinya letter is the letter Khu. Khu. And you can write the letter Khu in English by writing apostrophe Q U. Khu. Khu. Now I know it might be a little challenging, but if you give enough practice, then you'll know how to pronounce the Tigrinya letter sets. Let's go to our third Tigrinya letter. Our third Tigrinya letter is the letter E. E. And if you were to write E in English, you would write it as apostrophe Q I. This is how you write E. Our fourth Tigrinya letter is the letter A. A. And if you were to write the letter A, you would write it as apostrophe Q A. A. Our fifth letter is the letter A. A. And if you were to write the letter A in Tigrinya, you would write it, in English, not bad. If you were to write the letter A in English, you would write it as apostrophe Q I E. A. Our sixth letter is the letter E. E. And if you were to write the letter E in Tigrinya, you would write it as apostrophe Q. This is how you write E. Our last letter is the letter O. O. And if you were to write the letter O in Tigrinya, in English, I made the same mistake. If you were to write the letter O in English, you would write it as apostrophe Q O. O. Now I'll say each letter one more time. Our first letter is the letter A. A. Our second letter is the letter O. O. Our third letter is the letter A. A. Our fourth letter is the letter A. A. Our fifth letter is the letter A. A. Our sixth letter is the letter E. E. And our last letter is the letter O. O. Good job! You now know how to pronounce the Tigrinya letter set of Q. Now, I know that this is one of the challenging letter sets, at least the way you pronounce it, and so I'd advise for you to take your own time to repeat these Tigrinya letters so that you can pronounce it properly and better. But now it is time to write the Tigrinya letter set of Q. So if you were to write the first letter of the Tigrinya letter set, which is the letter Q, as we just learned, you will write it by making the letter Q, or start from scratch. You would make a line going straight down, and then near the middle, you'll make a half circle. Then you make another half circle. And then, if we left it the way it is, this will look like the letter Q. But, the letter Q. But, since this is the letter Q, we'll add a hat over it. And so one way that you can remember is that the letter Q has no hat, but the letter Q does have hat. Our second letter is the letter Q. Q. And you can write the letter Q by making our first letter, which is the letter Q. So that we'll draw a line, make a half circle, another half circle, and then you'll have a line near the bottom middle, and you will make a line that faces your right side, and then you will make a hat over the qa for it to be qa. Our third letter is the letter qi. Qi. And if you were to write letter qi in English, Tigrinya. If you were to write the letter qi in Tigrinya, you would make an L, and then what you will do is you'll make a half circle, another half circle, and then you will make a hat over it. This is how you write the letter qi. Our fourth letter is the letter qa. Qa. And if you were to write the letter qa in Tigrinya, you would write it as... So the first thing that you would do is you would make an L, but reversed. And so it would be a flipped L on this side. So you make like this, and then you do something like that. So this is the first step. Then the second step is to make a half circle near the middle, another half circle, and then what you will do is make a hat over it. This is how you write the letter qa. Our fifth letter is the letter qe. Qe. And if you were to write the letter qe in Tigrinya, you would write it by making a B, but that has a small circle. And then what you will do is you'll create a half circle, another half circle, and you'll create a hat over it. This is how you write the letter qe. Our sixth letter is the letter qi. Qi. And if you were to write the letter qi in Tigrinya, you would write it as... so the first way that you would write it is by making a small L. So make a small L like this, and then you will draw a straight line like this, and then what you will do is you'll make a half circle, another half circle, and then what you will do is you'll add a hat on top of that L. Let me embolden it. This is how you write the letter qi. Our last letter is the letter q. Q. And if you were to write the letter q in Tigrinya, you would write it by making a circle, small circle, not that big, small circle. Then you make a straight line. Then what you will do is you create a half circle, another half circle. But if you left it the way it is, this will create the letter q. And so to make it q, you will have to make a hat over that circle. Now I did elongate it a little bit, so let me erase it. Give me a second. So I will have to partially erase it from here because I made it a little too long. And this is how you write the letter q. Good job! We now also know how to write the Tigrinya letter set of q. Now it's time for the examples. Our first example is going to be made up of the letter q. And if you were to ask me an example for the letter q, I would say ما أ مغص. مغص in Tigrinya means scissors in English. If you guys remember that game, you used to use your hands. It was called, rock, paper, scissors, shoot. Now, if you were to translate this into Tigrinya, you would say it as imni warqat magas, which means scissors, amit, and amit means shoot. So I'll translate each word now. Imni means rock, warqat means paper, magas, as you know, is scissors, and shoot is amit. So let's play it one more time. Imni warqat magas amit. So make sure to play this with your family, because not only is it a fun game to play, but if you play it in your own language, then it adds a lot more fun to it. So make sure to try it out. Now let's go to our second Tigrinya letter, Q. Our example for the letter Q is Qutri. Qutri in Tigrinya. First, let me write it. I'm going a little ahead of myself. Qutri. So let's make Q. Q. Qutri. Qutri. Qutri in Tigrinya means numbers in English. Now, the word qutri also has another meaning. This meaning is math. And so, if you were to say math in Tigrinya, you would say qutri. If you want to say number, you'd also say qutri. Now let's go to our third Tigrinya letter. Our third Tigrinya letter is the letter Q. Q. And if you were to ask me an example for the letter Q, I would say example I give you is sa ra Q. Saraqi. Let me just trim that fact. I made it a little too long. Alright. Just a little bit. Alright. Saraqi. Saraqi in Tigrinya means thief in English. If you wanted to say, I saw the thief running down that road, in Tigrinya, you would say, Eti saraqi beza godana kahadim re'eyo. I'll say it again. Eti saraqi beza godana kahadim re'eyo. And again, this means I saw a thief running down that road. Now let's go to our fourth example. Our fourth example is made up of the letter Qa. Our example for the letter Qa is... computer's a little laggy today. Still not writing? Alright, you guys are gonna have to forgive me. I don't know what's wrong with the computer. Okay, let me fix this real quick. It's kind of funny because it was working up until now. Okay, you guys don't have to excuse me for today. Yay, we made it work. Alright, thank goodness. I might have had to redo the video. Alright, so our example for letter Qa is qa. Ooh. Qa. Ni. Cha. Qancha. Qancha in Tigrinya means sugarcane in English. I remember the first time that I had a sugarcane was when I was in 5th grade. I remember that my teacher wanted to show how the rest of the class how sugarcane tasted like, since most of us have never tasted it before. And so he went to the superstore and bought it to the class. I was one of the first people to try it out, and it was pretty embarrassing. I'll tell you why. So when he first gave me the sugarcane, I didn't. When I was going into to bite, because he said to bite it, I bit the hard part instead of the part where he cut it, and so I bit on the hard part, and I said, "Oh, it doesn't taste that good." And then he laughed and said, "That's not where you bite it, and then you're supposed to bite it where I cut it." And then I kind of blushed, but anyway, I took the sugarcane and I bit through the part which he cut through, and it tasted so good. And sadly, I only got like this size piece of sugarcane, so there wasn't that much that I could eat, but it was very, very good tasting, and I have eaten it since. What is your experience with sugarcane? If you do have an experience, make sure to share in the comment section, because it would be amazing to hear from you. Our 5th example is going to be made up of the letter Q. Q. Now, even though I don't like to say this insult a lot, the example we have for the letter Q is Q. Q. Na. N. Qenan. Again, I don't suggest using this as a normal Tigrinya word, but Qenan in Tigrinya means tilted in English. Now, for some of us English-speaking people, tilted may not be that big of an insult, but for people who speak Tigrinya, it is a pretty harsh insult, so I don't suggest going around and saying this. Let's go to our 6th example. Let's go to our 6th example. Our 6th example is made up of the letter Q. And our example for the letter Q is Na. Q. Ooh, my bad. Naqfa. Naqfa. Naqfa in Tigrinya means Naqfa in Tigrinya is the Eritrean currency, and it has been used as the national currency for Eritrea since the 15th of November 1998. And so it's actually a pretty young currency. Do you know why why the Eritrean currency is called Naqfa? If you don't be afraid, because even I didn't know, and I actually had to ask my mom. And my mom said that it was called Naqfa because Naqfa is a historic town during the Eritrean War of Independence. And since it was a place that was that stood for the freedom of the Eritrean people, they decided to name the currency after that. Let's go to our last example. Our last example is made up of the letter Q. Q. And my example for the letter Q is H. Ooh, I did that a little too long. Alright. Alright. حقا. حقا. حقا in Tigrinya means back in English. So I have a friend, and whenever I'd ask him to play sports with the rest of my friends, he would say no. And when I asked him why, he said that he has back problems, and so his hyogo, or back, causes him pain whenever he'd play sports like soccer, which I play most of the time. And so that made me realize that people who do have good backs, like me, maybe some of you, that we should be grateful, because not everyone has the ability to enjoy things that we can simply enjoy without that much struggle or pain. Now it's time for our remark. So previously in our videos, we have been not having a remark, but in this video, luckily, we do. And that remark is that the Amharic letters they write, they do not have the letter set of q, and so this is special to the Tigrinya alphabets. If you found this video helpful, useful, or informational, or even just a good video to watch, make sure to like, share, and subscribe to watch more videos from us. Bye for now, and I'll see you next time.